The caption of this video reads, "These are New Yorkers going into the city under Zohran Mamdani." Well, it's going to be an interesting time as, of course, politically, my goodness, golly gracious, did we have a big wake-up call yesterday that I think is absolutely worth talking about, as there are some key uncomfortable truths about what happened yesterday that I think are worth talking about, especially when it comes to the blue wave and the demographic changes that are happening in this country, signaling that there's going to be a lot more of this ahead. As a lot of people are trying to make sense of what happened here, we're going to be doing our best to make sure we talk about that in an open, honest, earnest way. Because if there ever was a time to splash the cold water on your face and to wake up to the reality of the situation, it is now. And Mike Cernovich is just going off talking about the insanity unfolding in our mainline society, as, of course, a lot of people are looking at one specific demographic that's responsible for all of this. We're going to be getting to it, as there's one race and gender that in New York City didn't vote for Zohran. What does that mean? How do we move forward? We're going to be talking about that and a lot more all here on this independent media broadcast. If you appreciate these types of videos, subscribe, click the notification button. As of course, people are shocked that this strategy didn't work. The guy who kicked out Republicans, told them that they're not welcome in the state when he was governor, wasn't able to get Republicans to vote for him? Huh? Wow. As last night, we saw major victories in Virginia, in New Jersey, in places like Pennsylvania, in places like Georgia, all of them signaling with major Democratic victories as the left, the liberals, the Democrats, the wokest of the woke, won. Candidates directly endorsed by Donald J. Trump lost. As people are saying, the real winners are real estate markets in places like Florida and Texas. As now, even Florida is considering doing tariffs on New Yorkers moving there. Texas has already said that they'll implement a 100% tariff. I think it's all just kind of facetious here. But the biggest victory was, of course, in New York City, where a leftist socialist, Mamdani, won. Now, this is big here, right? This is huge because this is, some would argue, the most important city in all of the United States that now will be under the leadership of Zohran Mamdani. Now, he won in a way where I think the conversation deserves to be had, in a way where a lot of people were pushing back against a lot of the foreign policy of this particular president. You can't say that this wasn't a part of the issue. It was, which creates really uncomfortable situations, as there's an establishment neocon right that sees this opportunity when they're in power as the perfect opportunity to split ranks and to shame young men for saying controversial, edgy things that they act all crazy and nerd about. And they flip out about it, like, he said weird things. And then the young kids are like, wow, man, that guy's acting really special because I said a word. I'm going to say it again. They're doing it again. Dude, these guys are crazy. And then they come back, young men are the problem. Well, looking at some of the demographics of who exactly voted for Zohran Mamdani, college graduates, not blue-collar workers, predominantly females, predominantly white, highlights a scenario where I think we really need to have that conversation. As Mike Cernovich kind of hinted at it a little bit more, saying Trump spent all year on the Middle East. His big donors loved this. Yep, they sure did. The Aldelsons loved this. Quote, the voters did not. Yeah, the voters were like, dude, we got to make America great again. We got a failing economy. We got the Federal Reserve printing money out of thin air. We just got $1 trillion in debt within 70 days. Right? The purchasing power of the dollar is going up. Insurance prices are going up. Energy prices are going up. And it is becoming more and more difficult to try to make ends meet. Seeing your life being slowly ripped away from you, seeing your wealth just slowly evaporate in front of you as the billionaire and the banksters have their way with you, and the proverbial corpse of the middle class is something that played a major role in everything that's happening right now. As this government, the federal government, is arguing, no, we got to spend more money in the Middle East. We got to give them more money. We got to help more wars. That Gaza situation, we got to pay for all of it now. Yeah, your money. Yeah, you're struggling under all this debt and all these regulations and taxes and rules and all this unfairness. Yeah, give more. Middle East now. And of course, Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro are like, yay. And the average American worker, the big, broad coalition, the umbrella coalition that Donald Trump brought in, being more of a blue-collar American guy, was saying, what the hell? Why are you doing this? What is going on? And now we have the results that we had here. I think it's pretty clear as Mike Cernovich goes on and says, Virginia is going to be under a Democrat supermajority now. Keep listening to Mark Levin, Mr. President. You'll be back to impeachment trials in 2026. And he will, as of course Prop 50 passed in California. California gets to redistrict. They're going to get rid of the few Republican congressional seats. There's going to be 5 Republican seats that are going to be changed in next year's midterms. They're going to be rigged to be Democratic representative type of areas. And with that, the Democrats are assured to have the majority in the House, according to a lot of political analysts that are looking at everything and all the maps and everything that's going on here. As Cernovich says, Mondani won by a landslide. Got record turnout. All else is cope. Yeah, you got to admit it. As Cenk Uygur says, Mondani wins. This is New York giving the middle finger to the establishment and voting for change and voting for someone that represents them instead of the donor class. Even if you don't agree with Mondani, at least he defied the powerful and defeated the establishment. As Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and a lot of other powerful people, Bill Ackman, and a lot of other billionaires, and a lot of other pro-Zionist type of movement, put out all the stops. They said, the grubby guy grabbing people, putting grandma in nursing homes, telling Republicans to leave. Yeah, that's the Republican guy that all the Republicans will vote for him. It didn't work. They failed. And again, listen, there does deserve to be some criticism on Trump serving the donor class. There's a reason Mike Cernovich, Cenk Uygur are all talking about it. There's a reason a lot of people voted for Mondani. As Mondani came out on his speech, and I listened to his entire speech, you know what he talked about? Free childcare, free buses. Now, of course, nothing's free. It's this kind of delusional, perverted type of mindset. But in the mind of a liberal white woman who is propagandized by all of the subliminal, subconscious nonsense and insanity out there, they're like, oh, yeah, I'll get to live and survive more. Oh, this is so nice. We'll be all nice to each other and things will be free and things will be all rainbows and butterflies. Oh, yeah. Oh. Do you understand who's paying for that and the consequences of that? Do you see what happens in socialist places like Venezuela and Cuba? Goodness gracious. As we'll get into white, liberal, educated women in a little bit here. But individuals like Michael Bloomberg spent $8 million, right? Bill Ackman spent a big amount of money. All of them lost. What does that highlight? Especially with American politics, as of course they were saying, oh no, the whole entire Jewish lobby came out against Mondani. Mondani still won. What does that highlight? That's the conversation that we're going to have in a little bit, as of course Cernovich here had some important insights to have here. And listen, he is 100% batting 100 here We'll get into his comments, and we'll get into the demographics and demographic change, especially in New York City. But just quickly before we do, we wanted to remind you about wearechange.shop. One of the supplements, especially if you're living in New York State or New York City, that you're going to want right now is magnesium glycinate. It helps you sleep at night, which I know a lot of people had a lot of difficulties doing last night if they were at least a little bit right of center of Mao Zedong. As people are talking about the great, powerful benefits of magnesium glycinate, as of course a lot of people report that it helps them with their headaches, their anxiety, their chronic pains, as a lot of people report that it just kind of disappears, especially when they start taking magnesium glycinate. As people are saying, hey, try magnesium glycinate, watch your energy levels increase. Wellness Chemist on Twitter says, feeling anxious, tired, or mentally foggy? A simple mineral might be the game changer you've been missing. Magnesium glycinate has been shown to ease anxiety, lift mode, and even help with depression in just a few weeks. Again, I'm not saying that does it. Do your own homework before putting anything into your own body. Most people are anxious. Most people have fried nervous systems. Most people are minerally deficient. Why? Because monocropping and our vegetables and our fruits don't have the same nutritional value like they did before. And that's why I think supplementation is key. That's why I personally supplement. I'm going to be upping my magnesium glycinate because this is the time where a lot of people get sick. A lot of people just, fall ill around this time of season. So I'm going to make sure that I am going to be doing everything I can to prevent that. And magnesium glycinate is going to be one of the things that I'm going to be taking. So, if you want it, wearechange.shop. Click the link down in the description below and get it while supplies last. Now, let's get back to this very unfiltered, honest conversation here by Mike Cernovich, who says, Cuomo told Republicans to leave the state. He genocided the elderly. So many Republicans are like a dog who got beat and will return to its master for any table scraps. This is degrading and debasing. Have some honor. Let Democrats carry Mamdani as an albatross. Now, Ben Cernovich, again, went after Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin, saying that they were rabid anti-Trumpers in 2016. And we still won. People can change their minds. That's not my point, which is obvious. We didn't need them. They don't move the needle. They don't understand the movement. Let them podcast and ignore. Yeah? Now, listen, politically, what we saw yesterday is going to be a big sign for what's going to be happening in the midterms. And if you think otherwise, you are absolutely wrong. As Zohran Mamdani, with his victory, with his speech, represents the country moving far more left than before. As of course now, there are betting markets that splintered specifically about who will win the midterms. Now, again, it was getting a little bit closer, about 40, 60%, but now the odds changed very dramatically as of last night, especially now with people questioning who's going to control the House in 2026 after the midterms. It's pretty clear. All markers are highlighting Democrats. Now, why is that? As, of course, the New York Post has this article, front page image saying the red apple, highlighting the Marxist kind of socialist, as a lot of people are saying, well, the U.S. political landscape is now accelerating into nationalism versus, quote, communism. Donald Trump responded last night to everything happening by saying Trump, quote, wasn't on the ballot. And shutdowns were the two reasons that Republicans lost tonight, according to pollsters. Pollsters are usually full of crap, and they don't try to get into the deeper weeds here. The economy and foreign policy, I think, in my own personal opinion, played a major role here, right? Because otherwise, Trump had a big political leverage, especially with everything that kind of happened within the last few days and weeks, as Matt Walsh highlights. Just to recap the last 2 months, Charlie Kirk got shot in the throat on stage. Thousands of leftists spend weeks celebrating openly. Leftist militants take to the streets committing and calling for more violence. Attorney General candidate for Virginia expresses his desire to take out conservative and watch their children lose their existences. Democratic voters turn out en masse to vote for him. Do you understand who your, quote, enemy is? Yeah, as the right is saying, no, this young kid said an edgy word. We have to stop him. And I'm like, what are you doing? What in the world are you doing? Why now, out of all the times, are you saying, nah, this young man said something I don't like. I'm on my high horse. We have to get rid of these people from our party, these young males that overwhelmingly vote Republican. We have to get rid of them. We have to disassociate. We have to disavow. And I'm like, shut up. Shut up. I get it. I don't agree with some of the things that they're saying. Sure. But your reaction to them is making them want to say it more, you numbskull. As people are saying, what's going to happen in New York City next? Well, a lot of money, a lot of businesses will leave. Tax rates, city tax rates are probably going to go up in order to pay for the free buses, free childcare. Cops will retire in record numbers. Welfare for illegals will go up. As, of course, Mondani also promised to take funds to use medical procedures in order to change people's genders. Homelessness is probably going to go up. Cost of living is going to go up. Crime's going to go up. Taxes going to go up. Less people probably going to show up to New York City. Landlords will flee and sell their properties. Property values will go down. And the debt of the city will go up. Miami, Dallas will become big financial hubs. They will make a lot of money because, quote, New York City is stupid. Yeah. And listen, let the chips fall where they may. Whatever. As now, New York City probably will try to do an exit tax. They're going to be doing more taxes on tourists and visitors. There's going to be a quality of life issue that a lot of people are going to be dealing with right now. As Madani says, yeah, we're going to welcome in all the immigrants. We saw what happened when that happened. Crime surged. Now, if we look at who voted for Mandani, it was 81% of young women that voted for a communist that will be making their lives more miserable and unsafe for them, as they usually are some of the biggest victims from open migration, from opening up the borders, and from being lax on crime, right? So we're going to see what happened. The only gender and demographic that didn't vote for Mandani, the only one is white males that didn't vote for him. Everyone else, white women, black men, black women, Latino men, Latino women, all others voted for Mandani. As Tim highlights here, look, white people predominantly voted for Mandani. Charlie Kirk, even in June 2017, when he was still alive, said Mandani has been posting racist, anti-white musings for over a decade. I guess white New Yorkers hate themselves so much that they'll vote for him anyway. Sad. Predominantly white women, not white men. As the white population of New York City has been going down dramatically, it will continue to go down, and it will only be accelerated from here. As, of course, a lot of people are saying, what did you expect when you have open borders? When New York City doesn't, in many jurisdictions, according to a lot of reports, they don't even check for IDs when it comes to voting. As right now, people are like, oh, it's the government shutdown. No, it's immigration. It's a decline of the white population, whether you like to talk about that or not, that is leading to this. And it's going to lead, and if this is a marker, if this is a symbol, this is probably what's going to happen, as, of course, the white population continues to go down. White women keep being indoctrinated by universities, propaganda. And when you look at a lot of the propaganda out there, it is thick. Turn on Netflix. I'm watching one Netflix show. It's always the white guy being stupid, being fat, being an idiot, or being evil. Always, predominantly, from the shows that I'm watching. And I'm like, wow. And it's always, oh, look, that immigrant or that black guy is like so awesome and smart. And he's like so really great. And but that evil white guy, so stupid. Ugh, stupid, evil white guy. And I'm like, that plays into the mindset of a lot of people, especially women, who are more naturally predisposed towards group selection and group think. You make people think group think. white men are all evil, when in reality, you look at the statistics of crime and abuses against women, you get a totally different reality. There's a reason in places like Poland, abuses against women went down dramatically. Everywhere else in Western Europe, they went up dramatically. Now, what does Trump do from here? Let me know what you think Trump needs to do as the number one priority down in the comment section below. I'm probably going to do a live stream at the end of today talking about your answers. So give me your answers. What do you think Trump should be doing in response to all of this? Thank you so much for supporting our store. We are Change.shop. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys doing that. And this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more, all here exclusively on youtube.com/WeAreChange.